Part D.3 CSS Layout Control Part 2. We know the CSS layout part. So it is a big, important part. We use this technology. And in this part, we want to learn that position property. This is another very important property we need to use to design our layout. In this part, I give you the basics. All right, so let's look at that. Position property, part 1. Also pretty long for this part. Position property specify the type of positioning method. There are several methods we can use to, determine the position of one specific element. Here you can see 5 different methods can be used. And these 5 different position types, position values, because we will have the position under the position property, position colon, then we can specify one of the 5 values. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which one you want to use? For this video, I only cover the first 4. The last one, it is rarely used. If you have a chance to use it, you just find some example and learn the rules, then you can use. The most of the time, we just use the first 4 position values. So let's look at these 4 values one by one. The first one, static. Position colon static. This one is the default. Default is any HTML element. If we do not set any position value, it takes the static value. Now we need to understand the meaning of static value. If an element with position static, now look at the property, is always positioned according to the normal flow. Here, look at this normal flow. So what is the normal flow? Because when the web browser renders your page, so it has its own way to render the page, element by element, follow some flow. Follow some flow, horizontal, arrangement. There is a normal flow there. So the static property means you just follow the normal flow. So you have that default location, the way you place your element. So you do not do any change. That's the static. All right, the first property. Second, static positioned elements. If an element has the static position value, then let's understand are not affected by these 4 properties: top, bottom, left, right. What's the meaning of that? The meaning is this. For each element, we can set these 4 properties: top, bottom, left, right. But if your position value is static or default, you do not have any position value. If you do not have any position value, that means we use the default. So, or you specifically set position value static. Then, no matter what values you set for these 4 properties, top, left, bottom, right, nothing happens. So not affected by these 4 properties. That's another property, the static. Okay, yeah. All right. The next property, or not property, next value, position relative value. Okay. So an element with position colon relative is position relative to the normal position. Yeah. So we talk about that normal position. Okay. So the browser knows that. Okay. So we may not know that clearly. Yeah. We just, the natural way when the browser arranges the components, elements. Let's say elements. Yeah. All right. Now, when you use this relative, you can do an adjustment with respect to the normal position. Yeah, that's easy to understand. Yeah. This time, you can use these 4 properties to help you to make an adjustment. Yeah. All right. Setting top, right, bottom, left properties. Yeah. Relative to of a relatively positioned element will cause it to be adjusted away from the normal position. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Away from the normal position. Yeah. All right. Let's look at a concrete example. Yeah. All right. Before we look at that, another rule. Yeah. Okay. Other content will not be adjusted to fit into any gap. Yeah. Because when you make an adjustment up, down, left, right, you may leave some gap, right? Yeah. That possible gap, the browser does not allow other element to occupy that gap. Okay? Because for this relative thing, your original location, the gap part, that if the browser allows other element to fill that part, it could be very messy, right? Could be very messy, yeah. But later you will see the browser allows different elements to do overlapping. Although that same place, you cannot put other element, but you can use element to put on top of it, right? Cover it. Overlapping is allowed. So you have chance if you really want to move that particular location. You have chance to do it by overlapping. Yeah, we will talk about that in next, a few slides. We will see that. Yeah. All right. Let me use a simple example to explain how do we do the adjustment. Yeah. All right. In this example, div.relative. Yeah. So we define that class, right? Div element dot relative class name. Then position, we set relative value. After that, then we do adjustment. Yeah. So this method is quite useful. Yeah. So usually when we do small adjustment, up, down, left, right, we like to use this way. Yeah. Relative. Yeah. Now, left 30px. Yeah. All right. So left to right, right? Yeah. So let's assume this is the one element. Left is this side, right? This side. So at the left side, you move 30 pixels. So what's the meaning of that? Okay. So this is a normal location. Okay. Normal location corresponds to 0. Okay. Yeah, 0. If you move 0, that's the normal location. No move. No. Now 30 pixel, because it's a positive 30 pixel, right? Positive, negative tells you the direction, which direction to move. Positive 30, you move 30 pixel to the right, because right is the positive direction. So you shift 30 pixel to the right. Okay. you shift 30 pixels to the right. Here. Okay? If negative 30, you shift 30 pixels to the left. That's the negative direction. Positive direction, negative direction. Yeah. For the top part, you use the same logic. Okay? Top, positive direction, you move down. Top. Yeah. Because you want to, move away from the top, right? Move away from top. Okay, so positive. Negative, you move up. Okay, you move toward, the up. Yeah. So the bottom, same thing. Bottom, positive, you move up. Okay, move away from bottom, right? Yeah, positive. Negative, you move toward the bottom. Yeah. Yeah. Right, positive, you move away from the right. Okay. Yeah. Away from the right. So away from the left, right? So use that kind of understanding. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, you get confused. So positive, negative. So how do I move? Right? Yeah. Use that kind of intuition. Yeah. To move. Yeah. All right. Next, part 2 of the position property, we have a few more values. This time the fixed value. So what's the meaning of the fixed value? This time relative to the viewport. So what's the viewport? So your computer screen, the viewable part, right? So that part, the screen viewable part, viewport. Okay. Now you place your element with respect to the viewport part, the screen viewing part. Yeah, that part. Yeah. Yeah. So if you do that, you place it top, bottom, left or right with respect to the viewport part, then when you even scroll the page, the element stays there. It does not move with your page up and down. Yeah. We have that kind of experience before. Yeah. Something very special, something, so you like to put there, make people aware of it. It's there, stays there. Even the page moves, you still want to display that important information, so you can use this way. Position, fixed. Yeah. All right. Then top, left, right, because this time you look at your absolute location of your viewport. So then you set approximately, where should be the right place. Yeah. Top, left, right, bottom. Yeah, those properties. Yeah. Then another property. A fixed element does not leave a gap in the page where it would normally have been located. Yeah, it has the original location, right? The element. You move from its natural location to that specific location with respect to the viewport, right? So the empty location, so that its original place, there is no gap left. Yeah. Yeah, because after you move that, you just assume nothing there. So other elements can use that location. Yeah. In that way, it is easier to control, right? Otherwise, it is very hard to control your elements. Yeah. All right. So that's the fixed value. Next one, absolute value. What's the meaning of that absolute value? Yeah. You compare it with the relative. Absolute, relative. Yeah. Element with position absolute is positioned relative to what? What element? Nearest positioned ancestor. Yeah. Try to understand the meaning of this. Nearest positioned ancestor. Yeah. Ancestor. Yeah. Higher level. Yeah. higher level, but not far away, higher level, nearest ancestor. Okay? But it must be positioned ancestor, not non-positioned ancestor. So what do you mean positioned ancestor, non-positioned ancestor? Yeah, so you will see the meaning. Yeah. All right. If an absolute position element has no positioned ancestor, yeah, it's possible, no position ancestor. Yeah. It uses the document body because you place all your elements, right? Yeah, for the viewing part, right? Display viewing part inside the body element, right? So then the top level you use that body element, yeah, and it moves along with page scrolling. Yeah, so this time not that fixed. Okay, so if you use the absolute way to place the element, when you scroll your page up and down, this element also moves along up and down. Yeah, so that's very natural understanding. Yeah. But another concept we want to understand is this positioned element. What do you mean positioned element and a non-positioned element, right? So that's related to this static element. If an element uses the position value static or default, yeah, then we do not say it is a positioned element. Okay? So it is a non-positioned element. Yeah. So that case, we should not consider it when we look at the nearest positioned ancestor. If there is ancestor uses that static value, we do not count it. Okay? We ignore it. Okay? Then we look it up. Okay? Another higher level, what is the next ancestor, right? Positioned ancestor, and so on. Yeah. So we use that way to understand. How do we determine absolute with respect to which element? We need to make that decision first. Then you can control the location, top, bottom, left, right. Okay? Yeah. Finally, let me use one example to explain. Yeah. So this one, external element, class relative. So we define here relative. Okay? Yeah. Location. Yeah. It has its own location. Yeah. Internal one, absolute. So we define. Okay? So here you can see when you display this one, nearest positioned, yeah, because this tells us it is a positioned element. Yeah. So you will make an adjustment, location, property, setting with respect to this element. Okay? Yeah. But this element you already move, right? You move with respect to its natural location. Up, down, yeah. Here we do not move. That's good. Yeah, we just set height, width. We do not move left, right, top, bottom. If you move, you need to, set that location as your reference point. Then you can determine, the location of your absolute element. Yeah. All right. So here you can see all these things pretty complicated. Yeah. So we just get some basic understanding on the rules, on these rules. Yeah. When we use this property, so we need to build up some experience. Yeah. After we get some experience, then we can, place all the elements in the right location. We like to place them. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next, overlapping elements. So this time, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, if you do not use the overlapping elements, the space used up, right? The space, already occupied by some other element. I cannot put anything there, right? So because now we can use overlapping elements. So even the space occupied by other element, we can use overlapping, still arrange some special elements. Yeah. All right. When elements are positioned, they can overlap other elements. Then we need to control the overlapping layers, right? Yeah. So there are layers. When you talk about overlapping, you have multiple layers. Yeah. Some elements at the lower layers, some elements at higher layers. Yeah. We need to control that parameter. So this z-index property can help us to control which layer you want to place your element. Yeah. All right. Here, yeah. Higher, lower, so that one you use some positive or negative stack order. So each element you can set a z-index number, yeah, order. Yeah. Could be positive or 0 or negative. Yeah. Whatever number you set. Okay. Yes. How to arrange those elements? Okay. The browser just sort it. Okay. From the smallest value to highest value. Considering positive, negative values, 0 also, sort it in increasing order. Okay. So then, to display them, element with greater stack order, yeah, higher, positive, largest positive number, yeah, if there is one, okay, yeah, just the largest stack order number, then it's on top, right? Smallest stack order number, you play at the bottom, okay, covered. Yeah. So in that way, so you can, control how to arrange the elements if you really need to overlap them, yeah, in a stack. Yeah. All right. So that's this. Right. Yeah. There is one special case. Yeah. Sometimes you do not set. Yeah. So you do not set z-index. That's possible. Yeah. In that situation, yeah, if still for some reason you do the overlapping thing, yeah, because when you use the position value, absolute, relative, so there is a possibility you overlap several elements. In that situation, which one is set first? Which one is set last, right? So there is order, you set those elements, right? Yeah. So then the last one will be placed on top of the other elements. Yeah. That kind of, intuition. Yeah. So that matches our intuition. Yeah. All right. So the last one, I show you one simple example. Yeah. So we have an image element. So we want to position here, absolute, okay? Because we know there is some overlap that could happen, so we set -1. Yeah. We want to put at the bottom, yeah, -1. Yeah. Other elements, on top of it. Yeah. Other elements, if we do not set z-index, we expect the value z-index 0, right? 0, higher than that. Yeah. So then you will see the text. Yeah, here the text on top of the image part. Image part. Yeah. So it looks like we use this image as a background. Yeah. But it's different. Yeah. We know we can set our background image. Yeah. So later we have chance to set background image. Yeah. But here the layers, so you have more freedom to control how do you arrange your elements. Yeah, so more than just the background. Yeah. All right, so that's this part, D.3. Yeah.